Welcome to the stream. What I'm going to talk about in detail on the show today is the Trump takeover of the RNC and the importance of that. I mean, that's one of the biggest swamp draining moves Trump will ever make. It's amazing what he's done. But, the countdown is here, and we're still in the primaries. We haven't even gotten to the convention yet. And you don't want to be fooled by all these great polls and how well Trump's doing. These never-Trumpers in the Uniparty are not sitting back and accepting that Trump's the nominee and is going to win in November. They're only just beginning. I mean, there's a story today as an example. There's two stories, actually. One story is a total fake story that Trump is going to cut Social Security and Medicare. Total lie. I'm going to play that clip later and expose that. But the media is running with it. And, what they do is they get a narrative going in the headline, and that becomes the story. Nobody goes and does. So I'm going to play the interview and expose that. And these are the kind of things they're going to do. There's another story. This BS document case, classified document case, total BS lawfare business. The case is about to get tossed out by the judge here in Florida. The judge is a Trump-appointed judge. She knows that the document case is total BS. She's about to toss it. So what do you wake up to this morning, right? A guy that worked with Trump, who talks about moving around classified documents. I mean, they put the screws to this guy, and he's saying everything that they want to. So there's all these things that they're going to be doing. So you cannot get overconfident. I went through the polls this morning, and the polls are spectacular. And the only thing that can stop Trump's return for his second and non-consecutive term is overconfidence on our part. And by our part, I mean MAGA, the Trump train. Overconfidence is the only thing that can stop us, hurt us, or slow us down, okay? And that is, there's really no other opponents now as we, go through the primaries, the rest of them. But you still got to go out and vote in your primary. I voted in my primary here in Florida on Sunday. Of course, voted for the greatest president ever, Donald Trump again. And it feels good. It was, gave me a little boost of energy to vote for President Trump, to see his name on the ballot. It was a beautiful thing. And I almost think at this point, what the Uniparty snakes are doing is to try to make us feel overconfident. So don't fall into that. I'm getting ready to leave to the radio station, and I'm sitting in my car in the driveway, and I was just going over the last bit of news I can before I get in the car on my phone, and I saw how great the polls were. And I'm not a poll person. I don't really follow the polls. I follow the trend of the polls. And Trump's been ahead in the polls for months and months and months and months and months. And now they're moving beyond the convention, moving beyond the primaries. Do you really think that these never-Trumper lunatics are just going to sit back and just say, okay, Trump's the nominee? He's going to be the nominee. Don't misunderstand me, but they've got all kinds of things going on. There's all kinds of things coming out now about Liz Cheney and her kangaroo committee on how, Trump's driver, when he was in his first term, said that this entire story of him trying to take the wheel, total BS. He testified to that in the committee. Liz Cheney heard the testimony and suppressed it, covered up the testimony because it did not fit her narrative. These people will never, 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 never leave Trump alone. Never. Or us, right? And those people that are in power in Washington, it's not just in Washington. They got the media. You know how it goes. The Uniparty, they got the media and everything. And their entire livelihoods right now is focused on stopping Trump. Look what happened in Arizona. They got Sinema to drop out of the race. That was a lock, slam dunk for Kari Lake, because the Democrat vote was split, right? Because you had Kari Lake, Sinema running as an independent, then they nominated this guy who's going to be the Democrat nominee. So what happens? They get Sinema to drop out. So boom, now the Democrat vote's not split. So that, so now that's what Kari Lake was going to walk into now, is more of a struggle than it would have been. So, these are the things that they're doing because, this political class, like Ronna McDaniel, fired at the RNC by President Trump. Think it's just a coincidence she's a Romney? No. These people in Washington, in the media and everything, they're incestuous. Okay? They view themselves as nobility. And the rest of us, we're serfs, we're peasants. They're nobility. This is multi-generational. And this permanent Washington class have been running this country for 100 years, some even more, okay? And, that's just the way it is. I was watching, this blew my freaking mind. I was watching CNN doing some analysis a few months ago. And, they have all these panelists on. And there was this woman on, I didn't know who I'd never seen her before. And I'm like, oh, who is she? And, sometimes when I'm watching panelists on TV and I've never seen them before, I'll Google, find out who they are to find out what their background is. She's a great-great-granddaughter of Herbert Hoover. And for you liberals out there, Herbert Hoover was the Republican president. He was president right before Roosevelt when the Great Depression hit. And I'm thinking, my goodness, this is how incestuous it is in the media that even President Hoover, who hasn't been president for almost 100 years, his family still has influence in the American media and in Washington. That's how it works. So what MAGA, what President Trump represents with this incredible movement, the MAGA movement, is this self-appointed, self-important nobility that have been running this country for over 100 years, long before Hoover. They're being toppled by the people, and that's just something they're not going to sit back and say, okay, it's going to be, so they're going to try to stop him at every turn. And that's just the way it is. And every day there's going to be some other BS story like these couple of stories I was talking about, just mentioned here in the stream that I want to get into detail about on the program. Now, that all being said, we're going to win. I'm not concerned about that. But we have to keep the energy up. We have to have massive turnout. We have to swamp them at every turn. Every fake story that's in the news, we got to jump on that story and expose the media, expose the fake news, expose the false narratives, and explain everything to everybody because it's very, very important. I mean, look at this. Hungary. Here's Hungary. Used to be a Soviet bloc country. Now it's a beautiful democracy, very much like MAGA. And, their president comes over here, meets with President Trump, and all of a sudden he's a dictator. Well, tell that to the people that elected him in Hungary, that he's a dictator. Right? I mean, that's how these people operate. Everyone's a dictator they don't like. They put these labels on. Oh, I'm energized. There's no doubt about that. I mean, this is exciting. I mean, this is the most exciting time in our lives so far as elections go, as far as presidents go. You want to enjoy this time of Trump that we're in, this whole Trump era, because President Trump is up there with President Washington, President Lincoln. He's more popular than Lincoln. Remember when when Lincoln was elected, half the country left, and the Democrats left and started the insurrection known as the Civil War. President Trump is more popular than even Abraham Lincoln was in his day, and this is a moment, a movement, a historical time, a historical president. Most presidents are mediocre. Bill Clinton, for example. Bill Clinton is a mediocre president who will be forgotten. He'll be like Franklin Pierce, or pick some other president. You know their name and you know nothing about. Zachary Taylor or something like that. Bill Clinton will be an insignificant, forgotten person in history. And 50 years, 100 years, they won't know anything about Bill Clinton. Nobody will know. Maybe Monica, but even that's... But Trump, he'll be up there with the big guys. Washington, Lincoln, Roosevelt, Trump, Kennedy. He'll be up there in the top 5 or 6 that history will always remember, will always talk about. And we are lucky enough to live through that moment, that time, and really the beginning of a new movement. And what President Trump did after his first term was just brilliant, because what they wanted... By the way, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. You'll love this channel. When Trump left office after his first term, what they wanted him to do was start his own party, a MAGA party. And Trump said, no, I'm going to take back the Republican Party. And they laughed at him. And look what happened. President Trump and the Trump family just took over the RNC, which is the main power base of the Republican establishment. The Republican establishment has been overthrown by Trump at the RNC. And you know what? That's amazing. It's part of the Trump miracle. All right, I'm looking at the clock. I've got to be on the air in 58 minutes, and I've got a long drive to the radio station, so I got to run. But as I said, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. You'll love this channel, I promise you. And those of you that are already subscribed, like the video, okay? Because that helps grow the channel. Take care. I'll see you live in about an hour. Take care, guys.